Welcome to the Georgia Podcast, featuring the who's who and what's new in Georgia. Made possible in part by Global Podcast Studios, offering podcast studio rentals, production, and distribution. Visit globalpodcaststudios.com. And by our friends at Serendipity Labs, co-working, private offices, and more. True inspiration at work. Learn more at serendipitylabs.com. Now join Rich Casanova, broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta and worldwide across the PBC syndicated networks.
All right, we're set for another exciting episode of the Georgia Podcast. Rich Casanova here alongside Michael Moore, and we have a rock star joining us here in the studio to talk about consulting, management, what small businesses need to do, be aware of, and we've got a big announcement about an event, an annual event that's going to be coming up here real soon in Atlanta, and your opportunity to get tickets to that as well and participate from a sponsor, vendor. You're going to hear about the whole rollout of the agenda and so forth. So Austin Thompson in the studio. Welcome to the Georgia Podcast.
Thank you very much, Rich and Michael. It's great to be here in the studios of Pro Business Channel.
Absolutely. So we're going to spin things a little bit. Before we get into your background, let's give the call to action right away. We'll give a teaser for this event, which is the Entrepreneur and Small Business Summit, right?
That's right.
So what's the website and how can, because people are waiting. Let me get a ticket right now. Right?
Oh, yeah, man. B2B conference.net, www.b2bconference.net, or you can register on Eventbrite.
And what date's that coming up?
That's
not too long.
That's Thursday, May 9th. That's next week during National Small Business Week.
That's a good one.
That's right.
Coincidence? No.
Coincidence. And then we got somebody with a small business speaker.
That's right. That's right.
So the cool thing about the top of the hour announcement on that, as you're listening to the podcast, you can be right on the site, surfing around, getting your ticket, finding out more information. But we have the man of the hour, the founder, the thought leader, the inspiration, the dude that's helped put this together. So tell the backstory about the event before we get into the current event this year.
I was out consulting and attending events, and I've always had someone sitting next to me or coming up and talking to me about, I just don't know where to go to get marketing information. I don't know where to go to get XYZ. And I said, well, have you ever heard of, such and such organization, such and such agency, you can, go and get information. Yeah, but I need someone to help me through the process. It's great when they give you information, but I need someone to help you through the process. So when I started Thompson Management Consulting, the purpose of it was to hold the hand of the small business owner, the entrepreneur who's establishing the business, who sort of found the process daunting and just didn't know really where to go to get information. So when I started a business, it was not just to write the business plan, not just say, hey, give me all your information, and then within 2 to 3 months, whatever, give you back a deliverable, but it's to walk the entrepreneur through the entire process, through the operations, through the marketing, the HR, through the financial analysis, and making them understand why certain things need to be incorporated into the plan.
And so let's talk a little bit of your backstory, because I find it fascinating, all the hats that you've worn, and you have a new hat. You're going to be tipping your toe into some new water.
Yeah.
We may do a teaser if you're prepared to make that announcement at the end of the show for a scoop. So originally from South America, you're currently an adjunct professor of business and project management, which is people really, that's a complicated, lot of moving parts to that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's at Shorter University here in Atlanta. 17 years, regulatory compliance engineering. You published a book, A Brand New You. I love that title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So why would, give me your elevator pitch in 17 seconds or less, why would a person want to read A Brand New You?
Discovering what it is about you, your image, what you have as an individual to leave that wow in the presence of someone who's encountering you. If you're looking to develop that image and that brand that people find, fascinating, and they want to do more business with you, or they want to encounter and have more of you in their presence, you need to understand about building a personal brand.
And I had a recent event where people were having this conversation with me, and I've been somewhat reluctant sometimes about putting myself out there as a brand and kind of self-promotion. I'm big on promoting our brand, our platform, and what we're doing as a team, right? But as an individual promotion, I think a lot of business owners share this hesitation, right?
Right.
And what you're saying is you need to kind of take ownership of that.
Take ownership of that, because in the business that we're involved in, we are the face of our business. You're the face of Pro Business Channel.
Right.
Michael is the face of Pro Business Channel.
Right.
I'm the face of Thompson Management Consulting and the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Summit. So I'm always out there. We've seen each other already.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't use that line, got a face for radio. So, Michael, why don't you tee on a couple of Austin's from his bio on his broadcasting and media background. He looks fairly extensive according to the notes here. Yeah.
Well, I think he does have a face for radio. He was actually had been a host, and that's how you really got into this process of talking to a number of business owners and realizing they needed individual hand-holding.
Exactly.
And you were sponsoring and hosting a weekly show on an AM station.
Right.
Had quite a listenership. Talk about some of the experiences you had there.
Well, it was great because you invited, entrepreneurs into the studio, and, you interview them, you get them to tell their story, and the kind of person I look for is I want you to tell the audience about what went wrong in growing the business. What went wrong? What went right? What experiences you had with failing at business, and also the experiences of triumphs. Because as entrepreneurs, we ride this roller coaster of emotions because we're always looking, to really build and grow a successful business, but on the way to growing a successful business, you're going to hit a lot of bumps in the road. And that's the story I always wanted my entrepreneurs to really tell.
Well, media is so important to leave something behind, and certainly interviewing people and converting that. Now, you also publish an article and you publish a magazine from Thompson Consulting, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that and how you got into it, and what's the good part, I guess?
Right. Yeah. Well, as part of any small business, you want to have a good, robust customer relations management, so a good CRM process. So part of that, keeping in contact with my current customers, with prospective customers, or even professionals and entrepreneurs I come into contact with, I had, incorporated everyone into a database as I go out to different networking events, and I basically it's a digital publication, Empowered Business Journal, and we have articles written by consultants. I write some of the articles. I try not to write all the articles. I don't want people to get bored with everything I have to say. So I encourage other consultants to, contribute articles, CPAs, financial advisors,
radio announcers,
you name it, So that goes out to a database of almost 2,000 readers.
Wow.
and also encourage them to look at the articles, read the articles, because this is information that's being shared to help you grow successfully.
And also, you're very active in the chambers out. You're from the northeast side of the city, where you've got Gwinnett County going on there, and you've got a lot of diverse opportunities out there for folks. You're actually a beacon for folks. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, not just being part of the Gwinnett Chamber, but also the Gwinnett Association of Business Entrepreneurs, and also with the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Summit, I attract a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners from that area, that immediate area. So, basically working with everyone to make sure that, information is being shared and entrepreneurs are getting engaged with the right people to help them grow successfully.
And also the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, man. That's like, before we get back to the event, last couple of points I want to talk about. Let's talk about mentorship and politics.
Oh yeah.
So, so you wear a number of different hats. You're like the Dos Equis man here today.
Yeah, right. Someone asked me, when do you actually sleep? I said, usually in the parking lot of a QT when I need about 5 to 10 minutes to recuperate. That's when I sleep, But, I'm a mentor at Discovery High School. I'm part of the Clyde L. Strickland Center for Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I'm on the advisory board there. They brought me in to scare the kids, to teach them, teach them about entrepreneurship. I do business plan competitions and marketing plan competitions for freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior students.
And then finally, politics. So
politics, yeah.
Talk to us about your previous life in politics. We may have a scoop at the end of the show here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what positions have you held in the political arena?
Well, over the past 30 years, literally, as soon as I was, I'm dating myself here, as soon as I was eligible to vote, I've always been part of the election process, wow. Either knocking on doors, phone banking, canvassing, and helping to organize fundraisers for different candidates. And I mean, anywhere from city municipal elections to state reps, U.S. reps, Senate, you name it, part of gubernatorial campaigns. Recently, I managed a successful campaign for House District 105 out there in Gwinnett County, and it was the first campaign that I managed that was successful. I managed one previously for Gwinnett County School Board. We got a good sizable chunk of the votes, but not enough to be successful. So when you get out, especially being in Gwinnett, when you get out and you're a face among all these yep. people, they start throwing you on committees. So Mayor Judy Jordan Johnson, the mayor of Lawrenceville, appointed me to the Downtown Architectural Review Board, wow. and we have entrepreneurs and business owners who are looking to expand into the city to develop businesses to help with growing the economy there. So I was part of the board that helped make those decisions, and then now on the advisory board for the Board of Commissioners for Gwinnett County. So yeah, they wow. kind of.
So when Michael and I throw our hat in the ring or tip our toe in the water for running for campaign for office, you'll be our campaign manager.
Hey, I'm here.
We'll talk after the show. Whatever.
I'm here.
So back to this event. So once again, you're listening to Georgia Podcast. Rich Casanova alongside Michael Moore. We have Austin Thompson talking to us about an amazing event coming up. And how many years has it been running now?
This is the 6th year.
6th year.
I'm already planning for the 7th year.
Wow.
Yeah. I got to take care of this year first.
100%.
And you're less than only 10 days away, too.
Yes,
you better be
right.
planning well.
Oh, yes.
So that's Entrepreneur and Small Business Summit, or the ESBS 2019,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's happening May 9th, as we said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about the program. A little bit of deep dive into the working part. So this goes from 7:30 to 4 o'clock. What's going to happen during that?
So at 7:30, we kick off with the networking session. So basically, we have everybody come in early for those who are early risers. Because I have people say, why do you start so early? And we are invigorated and excited entrepreneurs. The early bird catches the worm, man.
100%, yeah.
So we started at 7:30.
There's only so many worms to go around,
so
right?
much worms, exactly. So we start off at 7:30 with a networking session, and from 7:30 to 8:30, we have breakfast, refreshments, and whoever's there mingle and get to know one another, and then we start at 8:30 with the welcome and open and welcome session with the keynote address. This year, having the wonderful Rich Casanova, who will kick us off.
Man, I feel the clock ticking, the pressure, whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the starting lineup, man.
So, tell my mom or whatever. My brothers or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then we have all the exhibitors who are part of the Business to Business Expo. We have them all set up, come in and set up before 8:30. So this way, when we go through the opening session from 8:30 to 9, and this way the exhibitors are all set up, and then from 9 o'clock. From 9 to 12, we have 3 sessions. We have about 3 to 4 workshops per session. They're all running concurrently. And, the entrepreneurs, the attendees, they have opportunities to attend whatever workshop that interests them. And like I tell
what's on the short list? What are a couple of examples of some of those workshops?
Yeah, we got understanding the basics of legal entity formation. So this way, if you have not established your businesses yet, you're looking to determine, oh my God, what's an LLC? What is a C Corp? What's an S Corp? How do I determine, and differentiate between the three?
Right.
You have a licensed attorney, Georgia licensed attorney, there to explain it all to you, the benefits, the pros and cons, and advantages and disadvantages of each. We have emotional intelligence, because as entrepreneurs, we need to understand, how to deal with emotions, because we're out there dealing with a lot of people, and we have to, be able to determine how we check our own emotions, and while dealing with other emotions and individuals. Elevator pitch. That's
a big one, to be able to get that down, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, growing profits, controlling legal decisions. Again, dealing with the legal aspect of how you make decisions, contracts, negotiations. Different types of agreements. All those things that are important. I'll be doing the business plan workshop on why a business plan is important and why it's still relevant. We have entrepreneurs out there who are starting businesses that they don't even know what they're doing next week or next month.
Right.
And that's something that I really try to explain to them is, well, how do you know how you're growing quarterly or annually? You have to plan for these things.
And we talked before we went on the air about the theme. And obviously, we mentioned Ashley Bell as well. Right. One of the keynotes as well, talking about the SBA. He's represents 8 states here, about $30 billion in capital funding.
Yes.
He's been in our studio in the past. It's amazing. He's got an amazing story.
Yeah. The SBA has been phenomenal. They've been with me since year one.
Wow.
I've had different speakers from the SBA.
Shout out to Cassius Butts.
That's right. Shout out to Administrator Butts. I mean, he was part of a few years back, helping me to identify certain representatives to come out and speak.
And Lola in the office there, you can't forget Lola.
Yeah,
she's the glue that makes that whole team happen. And Denise, but okay, so what I like about the theme, we talked again before we went on the air. Talk to us again about rediscovering your competitive advantage. Well, why that theme? Why that resonates? What are some takeaways from that conversation, and why it's important?
Yeah, what resonates about the competitive advantage, right? The small business owner grinds. They're out there trying to make a sale, trying to generate revenue, but getting them to understand what sets you apart. What is your unique selling point? What's unique about you as an entrepreneur, as the business owner, that someone would want to do business with you, buy your services, patronize you for your products? So rediscovering is getting back to focusing on your competitive advantage, on what makes you competitive. What is the advantage that you offer over your competitors that, makes you stand out, makes you unique?
Right.
And one thing, I remember you and I were at a Circle of Firms event, and we were with the lady who did the cookies.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And we were discussing with her the unique selling point, and you were explaining to her what makes her unique. And there were certain talking points that you hit her with that made her like, wow, okay, I never thought of that. And that's the great thing,
Yeah, I was just amazed that she could deliver that for like $1 and make the logo custom.
Exactly.
And we talked about before, sometimes every business, you're in this kind of bubble, and you don't realize, outside your sphere, what the potential goal that you're sitting on, or that you need to kind of pivot, we've launched a new initiative for 2019 called Global Podcast Studios.
Okay.
And we're still trying to fine-tune that messaging of that, right? We know it's very unique, but in explaining to people the concept, we still have to kind of fine-tune and define that as far as an Airbnb for podcasting studios. A lot of people just to book the studio, right?
Right.
But talking about the competitive advantage, I mean, I'm admittedly obsessed with the Shark Tank. I mean, it's basically for an entrepreneur, it's our Super Bowl, and it's a weekly. Basically, you're sitting in front of billionaires, and you get to kind of see how they react, right?
Yeah.
And I know
I kind of go from Shark Tank to The Prophet.
Yeah, The Prophet's awesome.
I love that guy. I love that show. Yeah,
that guy's amazing.
Oh yeah.
But you can get Shark Tank without cable.
Whatever. That's true.
But in terms of competitive advantage, Mr. Wonderful often does that.
Oh yeah.
Right. So this person comes very enthusiastic about what they're doing and so forth, and they're asking for all this money, and they got these big grandiose plans, and Mr. Wonderful has a way of kind of putting them in check and saying, "That's all great. What's to prevent me from just throwing some money at this and doing what you're doing?"
Exactly. He's like the Simon Cowell.
Right.
Shark Tank. His purpose is to throw you off guard.
Yeah.
But you're coming in there prepared and you're confident, and then all of a sudden now he's
reality check.
Yes, exactly.
But and it's difficult. It's very cumbersome to do or a challenge to define that advantage, right? Because a lot of times, especially with the internet, whatever you're offering, it's a www dot away from what's out there also on the web, right?
Exactly, and this is why the personal brand is so important, because you can hide behind your logo,
right?
You could hide behind the name of your business, but what helps is it when you get out, like the networking events we do, you get out, you're speaking to people, you're looking folks in the eye, and it helps them make that decision. Wow, I'm getting to know this individual. I actually like this guy. He's really nice. I actually want to do business with him. So if you have that sharp personal brand, again, which makes people comfortable in doing business with you,
crisp.
It's crisp. Exactly. That's a wonderful thing.
Attracted to you as the person as well as the spokesperson and the brand itself,
right? Exactly.
And your widget, which you're offering.
Exactly.
So so for people that have not participated in this event in the past, what's the purpose? What's the takeaway? What's the expectation in getting a ticket? To attend. Right.
You have the opportunity to really engage some top-notch consultants in the Metro Atlanta area. It's important, as a business owner, to come out and really get information on marketing, on digital marketing, social media, growing your profits, the things you need in order to grow your business successfully. One of the takeaways that one of the previous, and I had a few, but, it was like, wow, I sat at about 4 different workshops, and I had the opportunity to speak with the speaker afterwards for about another half hour, and now I'm scheduling an appointment to meet with them for him to be my consultant.
Nice.
And that's what I want. I want the entrepreneurs to come. We just can't wave a magic wand and all of a sudden experience success in our business. I don't wave a magic wand, you have to seek out the help, seek out the information. And it's great when you have people that you can engage at $0, because if you're actually seeking them and engaging them outside of the ESBS, you're paying hundreds of dollars to really sit down with their time.
Talking dollars, what are some of the numbers and opportunities for people to attend and exhibit and sponsor? Give us the rundown of cost involved here.
Well, basically, pre-registration is $25, and we keep it affordable because we deal with a lot of micro models, right? So we really want this to be affordable. If you do not register in advance because you're trying to determine if you can make it, or if you want to make it for a half a day or whatever, we want you to spend a full day with us. Registering on site is $30, right? If you're exhibiting as part of the B2B Expo, it's a table and 2 chairs, and it's for $175 for the entire day. It's 8 hours.
Wow.
And you're exposed, to over 120, some odd entrepreneurs and business owners, speakers, consultants, people who are really engaged in the entrepreneurship space. And this is an opportunity for you. One thing about exhibiting is, I learned this over the years. You could attend an event, you just basically have yourself and your presence
in the crowd.
But when you have a table and you have your pull-up banners and all your marketing material, it's a different dynamic. And it's great for someone to come over to your table and engage you in conversation, and it enhances the experience.
100%. And speaking of that, you actually were one of the sponsors at our event at Suntrust Ballpark.
Yes.
When we did
that was great.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was great, yes.
So we appreciate your support for that as well.
Yes.
But as a sponsor, for that price, $175, for most businesses, you pick up one client.
Yeah,
You're probably set, right?
Yeah, and I've had a gentleman who is actually now starting his own marketing business. I think he worked for AT&T for like 30-something years.
Right.
And exactly. And he is actually starting his own marketing company. And he actually came out as an attendee and said to me, "Hey man, I got my first client."
Wow!
So that was amazing.
Nothing like that,
Yes, that was amazing.
He put his foot in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
He's swimming now.
Exactly, and he actually gave me an acknowledgement on my site. I told him, I said, "Hey, I want you to write that, as a testimony on my site." And so that was beautiful.
All right, so we're talking with Austin Thompson, and we're talking about the Entrepreneurship and Small Business Summit that's happening May 9th here in Atlanta, actually out in Lawrenceville. Where's the venue exactly?
It's Gwinnett Technical College.
Okay.
And it sits on Sugarloaf Parkway.
Okay.
It's 316. You're going 85 to 316. I know it sounds far if you're not from the Lawrenceville. But it's
slightly outside the perimeter. Not very far.
Just slightly. and it sits 316 East. Sugarloaf Parkway, and between Sugarloaf Parkway and Highway 120, the Duluth Highway. And it's a lovely college, the Gwinnett Technical College. I've done a lot of events there. The George Busby International Center, that's Building 700.
Right.
And that's where the event will be held. It's 5150 Sugarloaf Parkway in Lawrenceville.
And it's a great venue. And did you mention free parking?
And free parking, that's right.
Oh,
In
man.
Atlanta metropolitan area, boy, free parking makes a day.
There's a plethora of free parking spaces. Just make sure you're in the visitor parking section because they do put stickers on your window if you're not parked in the right spot. But we will have proper signage out there as we always do. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a great opportunity for looking at what you're doing for Thompson Business Consulting.
Oh, yeah.
This is an outgrowth, an outreach for you. But let's talk about some of the things that you're really pounding on and doing. How you started your business, why you started it. Well, I know you have a value proposition that's phenomenal because what you're doing today is just such a gift to the community.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. And when I first started, I was in grad school. I was in my MBA program, and I had several of my friends who asked me to help them, write a business plan because they wanted to start a business, and one of the requirements for them to seek funding was to write a business plan. So, they feel, if people feel, well, you're pursuing an MBA, you must know how to write a business plan. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And of course, they grill this thing in you in MBA school, So I had a couple of friends came to me, and I started out, writing their business plans, and some folks, they needed some help in understanding, what's a P&L, what's an income statement, and cash flow, and how do I make my balance sheet balance, and I sat down with them and I explained certain things, and I, over time, after one or after two, or after three, it was like, wow, I really enjoy this, and it's the hand-holding, walking through process that creates that value to the person coming to you, because unlike some other places you can go, they'll be gladly give you a lot of information, but they just don't walk you through the process. It's a daunting process. I mean, even for me as a person who does the research, and I pay for databases so I can have access to certain statistics and data, so this way I'm putting a lot of information into the plan that's going to create the value. So even if you don't get the loan from the bank, there are other alternatives, and also if you're going to angel investors, they're going to want to see a business plan as well, because I've had that experience.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yes.
You got a T-shirt. You got to have more than a T-shirt.
More than a T-shirt and a one-page summary. Yeah,
it's called staying alive. Yeah, they want to know they're going to stay alive with their money.
Exactly.
That man was a banker, an angel investor, your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
one of them wants to stay alive.
And hopefully they're not all the same person. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. How am I get my money back?
Yeah. So we're almost out of time here. A couple other points here. Mm-hmm. So how many people typically attend the event?
We had 122 people come through last year.
Nice.
Over the years, one of our best years was year 4.
Okay.
We had almost 200 people.
Wow.
And when I first started, I started aggressively. It was sort of like sprinting before I crawled.
Right.
So my whole vision was to be the event during National Small Business Week. And I sort of crashed and burned because I had to cover a lot of territory. I actually had an event at 3 different locations across the Metro Atlanta area.
Dude.
And it was a first-year event. Nobody knew what this ESBS thing was. It was just Thompson Management Consulting. But over the years, it grew, and it grew successfully. So I have streamlined down to one day instead of 4.
Good idea.
One location instead of 3. And so it has been phenomenal over the years. So this is something that I really encourage entrepreneurs to take advantage of.
So it sounds like over those years you've discovered your competitive advantage. Yeah, it works,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it's just $25 a ticket, and Michael brought up a great point. For a lot of people in Atlanta, parking can be $15-$20 just for the parking, right?
Yeah. I mean, but this is free. Parking is free.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you pay $25 for the whole day, and it's catered, fully catered.
No way.
Not sandwiches, not snacks or salads.
Sit down lunch.
So it's a full buffet lunch from a Caribbean restaurant that has sponsored me ever since year 2.
Okay, rewind. We got to open with that.
So we got free food, we got free parking. Just pay $25, get a ticket, and show up.
Exactly.
With business cards. You encourage that. Right?
Yep.
Bring 25, bring 50.
Yeah, exactly. And I encourage them. The first was just the food and setting up, but now I really encourage them to have that presence. And because the attendees really love the food. I've had attendees actually patronize. I've actually had SBA members actually patronize the restaurant that provides the food, and they called me personally.
Shout out to them again. Who are we talking about?
Legomere Restaurant and Banquet Hall in Lawrenceville,
Caribbean
Georgia.
Or Caribbean food?
It's Caribbean food.
It's all Florida, you know.
Yeah.
So long as you have a steel drum, it's all fine. Yeah. So what's cool about that? What Michael was also saying, sometimes you reverse engineer this different perspective. So basically, come out, for about the price of what you pay at a food court. Come out and buy lunch for $25, and you get this amazing event that's included with your lunch.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you get the workshops, you get the lunch, you get the breakfast, you get the networking,
and you get to hear from Rich Casanova.
And
Ashley Bell.
And Ashley Bell. That's right. Exactly.
Okay, so $25, $175 for a sponsor. That's May 9th here in Atlanta from 7:30 till 4. And politics. You're going to give us a scoop here?
Oh man,
You tell me over coffee this morning. Yeah.
Well, lately, like I said, I've been thrown into the fire by folks that I've worked on their campaigns or other committee members. But over the past 2 weeks, I actually started the process, my declaration of intent to run for the city council for the city of Lawrenceville. To run to serve as the people's counselor. That's my tagline. The people's counselor. I'm a marketing guy. I like branding. So the people's counselor. Lawrenceville City Council Post 1. It's actually was encouraged to initially to run for mayor, but I really want to learn the full mechanics of the city council. I've served over the past 5 years on the architectural review board, reviewing plans to expand the economic landscape of the city. So after 5 years, now I'm campaigning. I feel confident about winning an election that will enable me to serve and to continue serving and being that representative for the city.
Cool. So is this the official first media announcement of this?
This is the official first media announcement. That's right, here on the Pro Business Channel.
That election is this fall, right?
Yeah, the election is November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th, and we're looking forward to an exciting fundraisers and getting out in the community and really spreading the word about the message.
That's pretty awesome to get that scoop.
Yeah, we got the scoop here, and be excited to watch your progress and count those votes as they come in. Vote early, vote often.
That's right.
But for legal reasons, we have to put the disclaimer. By no means is this a support or endorsement of its candidacy. Right?
Exactly.
But Austin, it was awesome seeing you again. Excited to be part of the event, and looking forward to the event. And again, encouragement to go. What's the website again for people to get tickets and find out more?
Yeah, the letter B, the number 2, the letter B, and B2B, the word conference.net. So www.b2bconference.net. Or you can go on Eventbrite and then look for ESBS 2019, and you can also register through Eventbrite.
And I imagine there's a link at your website as well, right?
That's right.
What is that website?
And that's TM in Thompson Management, tmconsultingllc.com. That's right.
All right, gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Georgia Podcast. Rich Casanova here on behalf of Michael Moore and our guest, Austin Thompson. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And what's our slogan for Georgia Podcast?
Our slogan for Georgia Podcast?
Yeah, for the Georgia Podcast, yeah. Who's who and what's new in Georgia.
Who's who and what new, that's right.
That's it. And we had it here. We got new stuff today, and we got the who's who here. Hope you'll join us next week.
For the what's what.
For the what's what.
Bye now.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Pro Business Channel, we thank you for listening to the Georgia Podcast, featuring the who's who and what's new in Georgia. Made possible in part by Global Podcast Studios, offering podcast studio rentals, production, and distribution. Visit globalpodcaststudios.com. And by our friends at Serendipity Labs, co-working, private offices, and more. True inspiration at work. Learn more at serendipitylabs.com. Join Rich Casanova for the next Georgia Podcast and download on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more.